So briefly introduction, my name is Noah Allen. I'm switching my career from banking to education after realizing that I wanted to follow my dreams of becoming a teacher. It's never too late, obviously. So I realized that my true desire was to help students understand the importance of social studies. And this class has definitely helped me with discovering new tools in which to do that, which is pretty cool. I didn't know what to expect from this class, which is pretty awesome. I just thought maybe it was just a bunch of websites and do's and don't lists for teachers and students. Since I've used like large language models before, like ChatGPT, for my personal use, I just didn't understand how they worked. So like in week 2, we had the video of how LLMs actually generate text, which I found fascinating. It was informative to know that I help ChatGPT and others like learn and grow just by participating and utilizing it as a tool, which I thought was pretty neat. That was pretty cool. Let's see, describe my overall journey in the class. So let's see, I've enjoyed the time in the class with creative aspect of AI in education. So let's see, I like using the tools to create things because I'm a creative person. Let's see, like I think of it as utilizing just tools. So the tools within the classroom are pretty neat. So I have a lot of fun personality stuff that I like to throw into it. So I like using my imagination, which is pretty fun. Let's say I think using the prompts is very important. In the prompting AI video, when Anson Alexander, when he explains like the importance of prompting and how much the detail input that you put into AI can change the output you receive, which is pretty awesome. I find that super insightful because it's like I already kind of know that, but I thought that was very cool to see that, like, oh well, that makes absolute sense, because I know a lot of times I go back and forth of like, I don't really like that, I'm gonna change it, or I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna change that. So I kind of go back and forth a lot of times of like, I don't really like how that looks, I'm gonna add more. Sometimes I find myself doing a lot more editing with the prompts and adding more, like, I don't like that, change that again. I don't like that, change that again. So which I kind of explained to my daughter because she's kind of a little hesitant with AI. So I kind of explained it to her, like comparing it to, like, like AI is kind of like a canvas, and if you use your imagination, like that's kind of the most important part. So it's prompting is kind of like the skills. It's those like your paint and your paintbrushes. And AI, you need those to kind of paint your picture. And the better you are at using your prompts, like the better you are your tools, the better the picture comes out. So I kind of think that's pretty cool, and that's kind of what I've learned so far, which is pretty neat. I think the biggest struggle, I think, is just the technology part of it. So if you don't know the different AIs or the different types of things that you're using, that's where the only downfall is. So you haven't messed with something for a little bit, then you're not going to know it. So that's where just playing with it kind of helps, which is pretty cool. So I definitely have a lot more playing around to do on some of those things. So what assumptions, misconceptions, how do you think you're evolving? So I think one misconception I had was about AI and art and music. I think once I felt that like something was that it was like it was like a cheat or a hack with like real artists and musicians, like you'll put them out of work. In the AI versus human creativity video, they talked a lot about how many people kind of like gave up their dreams because they didn't have the time or the energy to kind of pursue those projects. I think that it was really kind of cool that like AI gives them that opportunity to pursue those things, because it cuts down on that time when they could use, again, like I was saying before, that it could use their own imagination and use AI as their tool to follow those their dreams and stuff, which is pretty neat. And And I agree. In the week 3 work of creating a song in images, I found that it was absolutely the most fun I think I had with creating things, um, and tapping into my creative side. Realizing that there is a less time and energy that I had to put into practicing an instrument and honing my skill set, which is cool because I am a musician. So I didn't have to write a bunch of music. It was just, hey, do this, and it did it in the least amount of energy, which was pretty cool. Um, and I can see that definitely greatly improving the classroom experience for a lot of students and a lot of projects when it comes to involvement of their own education. So, and I know how many students, speaking from experience, might feel like they don't like a subject because they aren't interested, or they don't engage in a subject enough because they're not interested. But if there's a way to pull students in using AI and make the subject interactive, I believe students will retain information more, and they can turn it into an like an applicable information. So then they could remember it more. I know that's something I struggled with when I was a kid. So this might be a way to actually help them do that. How might the use of AI in education widen or narrow? AI, I think, can widen gaps by the lack of equipment or the lack of teachers, administrators, school districts not allowing access to the technology for fear of like abuse. I think when a fear of technology is suppressed, I think it allows like the curiosity of it to grow. And I think that means those students will kind of sneak it in. I think that's with anything, really. I mean, human beings are going to do that. So I think restricting it in education, it'll also hurt the job market for a lot of educators, meaning that they're not going to pursue it. So then you're going to have a little bit of a job market thing, especially for the students. If they're not going to learn it at a younger age and they're going to get to college, then they're going to learn it. It's going to kind of restrict them a little bit as well in their primary, secondary schools. If they're going to learn it that much and wait till college, they're going to be a little bit behind, especially in the next coming years when AI starts to really progress. As far as narrowing, I think if it's embraced correctly, I believe it can be like a boon for a lot of students, especially if they're well informed, and it just can create a highly functioning generation. And it can, especially if it can be taught as a tool, not a crutch. Students could be, I mean, it's like using a calculator. For at one point in time, that was a bad thing. Now it's like it's on a phone everywhere you go. You can use it on tests. I mean, it's a thing that we use all the time now. So I think that's something that is really important. As long as it's taught correctly, that's where you can narrow the gaps, and it can be really beneficial to a lot of students and can help them a lot. All right, which AI tools or concepts from the course do you see myself using in the future? Okay, this one I would definitely say the ones I really enjoyed the most. It's hard to choose. There's quite a bit. The one I think I liked the most was the Claude Artifacts. Was really cool. That one I think I liked the most. That was week 4. We did the different prompts. That one I liked a lot because we got to make I think I chose the one with the game. That one was really cool. I've already had a lot of people playing it. I'm not gonna lie, it was really fun. I'm gonna mess around with it a little bit more to kind of tweak it. I will be using that, and I will be messing around with it in my future classroom for different units and things like that. I think it's really fun. Maybe quizzes, things like that. Gemini Canvas was pretty cool. I see that myself using that. That was really neat, just for generating images. I think students would really benefit from that. There's some cool ideas I think you have for having infographics made, cool projects, things like that, for having students create things out of that. Things on my end that would be neat is I like Brisk was really neat to use for disseminating information. Using it for scaffolding for students would be neat. I also think Differ was really cool. So if you have ELL students, that is really neat. I don't know why I've not known any other teachers use or mention that. Is wild. That would be so helpful with any sort of worksheets, things out there. I'm surprised I've not actually heard that at all being used. That is wild to me. That would be something that I would definitely look into. So those things on scaffolding levels and then just things like that, I thought those are very, very cool, and I would love to see myself using those in the future. And what aspect of AI in education inspired you the most? Let's see. Build on inspiration. I think so far the ease of education, or AI in education, has inspired me the most. Again, I believe that there is a level of ease to it that makes me see the value of AI. I mean, it just makes me feel like I'm standing in a field watching like the cotton gin demonstrated for the first time. Like, it's like, wow, that is really easy. That'll really help us. Or like watching the printing press being used for the first time. Like, it's amazing. It's a revolutionary tool. Like, why are we not using this more? And I'm shocked that it's not. I think in like week 5, there's that video, the AI dilemma in classrooms, ban or adapt it. Trevor Muir, I think his name is, talked about how there is like how he would demonstrate to educators and they'd be shocked about the things that it could do, and he could understand their skepticism, which I do. I think he brings up good points about academic dishonesty and cheating, but I think for me, I would build off of the inspiration that he would say about how it would enhance the classroom experience, but you need to add and incorporate responsibility, AI responsibility, and you need to add, like, show students principles with it. And then you need to add creativity to assignments so that it has that responsibility and teaches students responsibility and builds principles into it. So that way it could help them learn. And then also it would lessen workload. I mean, that makes life easier. If you can get more things done on your plate, or more things off your plate and get more things done, why not? In conclusion, I would say, just some of the questions is, I think one question I may have is, what builds of AI will be considered more safe than others? Which would, I guess, be an administration question for depending on which school district, which is probably why they are not jumping out and supporting a lot of things. They don't know as well. Do we trust and research the creators of certain AI builds? That's another thing. Again, that's probably a question for those, administrators. And then I'm now in a mode of wanting to learn as much as I can and play with as many different possible AIs and websites and all that stuff as I can to see what works for my future classroom as possible. That would be awesome. And then just to reflect on the class itself as a whole, it's definitely influenced my mindset. I mean, I believe that this course has helped me see AI as more of a tool and a key to longevity within education. Probably like educators who saw like the internet coming out, they saw it as a way to help students rather than like take learning from the classroom. I'm definitely in that category of it'll help our students. I think it's something that educators must embrace and not be pushed to the wayside. I do feel like since I'm coming into education as a career change, this is something that I 1,000% need to grab hold of, and I'm already embracing a change. I need to 1,000% embrace this change as well. I mean, in the tech world does go by really quick, so that means that this is definitely it's going to be fast paced, and it's going to be changing, and it is changing every day. And I do think whatever place I go to, if I know as much as I can about AI in education, that means I have a chance to come in and be a leader in that place. If no one else has that spot, I can take that spot, and I can at least lead others to understand the importance as well. So it's definitely something that I feel like this class has kind of helped me see the importance of it, which is pretty cool. So yeah, So I definitely am really happy that I took this class, and I mean, I already see the importance of social studies and education in that realm, and this has helped me see AI in education, so melding the two, which is pretty cool. Thanks.